Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks unboxing and first impressions of the One Audio Monitor 60 earphones. And if you look at the packaging in this video, you can just barely make out that Monitor 60 text embossed on the packaging, as well as the nice and glossy picture of the side of the earphones. Now, One Audio is a brand we know quite well here at Tech Travel Geeks. We've reviewed quite a few of their products, and they very kindly sent us this model of monitor earphones for our review on Tech Travel Geeks. So first things first, I'm going to get my Jerry Rig Everything knife and just make sure that there's nothing to cut through, so it's redundant this time. We'll put it to one side. Now, the packaging is cardboard. It's black cardboard. On the front, as you can see, it's got the usual imagery and the One Audio brand that we know so well. And on the inside, you see the brand One Audio and text that says "The Power of Music." Let's open that cardboard lid and see what's inside the box. Now, obviously, there's a pleather bag with the One Audio branding and the actual earphones in it. There is also a card. This is a very premium experience. A card with Monitor 60. So let's see what this tells us about the product. Share port function. So this is something that we've seen on previous studio headphones from One Audio. You can use a 3.5mm audio jack cable to go from one set of earphones to another. This way, with an analog connection, you can be sharing what you're listening to with someone else. So if you're working collaboratively, that could be quite easy. A scenario in travel would be that you're maybe watching a movie on a tablet and you want to share what you're watching with the person beside you. They then highlight the ergonomic design and the fact that these earphones fold up, which is great for travel. And then you've got a few extra details about the fact that it has a 3.5mm or Courage cable in the box that connects to TVs, monitors, and whatever else has a 3.5mm audio port, and a few extra details about the guarantee. Now let's see what else is in the box. Now the box can go aside, there's nothing else here. Whoops. So here we have big cable with the wriggly bit. So this is more than a Courage port. This is a legacy or big 1/4" connector. So it's the precursor to our good old 3.5mm connector. And then it goes to a 3.5mm connector. Let me just double check here. No, this is a separate cable. So there's two cables by the looks of this in here. One goes from 3.5mm to your 1/4" connector. And both of these have One Audio branding on them. So this is not simple ODM stuff. This is really, One Audio's branding is really front and center here. And then we have the Courage cable with, again, One Audio branding, and you'll see one is a dipole, the other is 1, 2, 3 poles. So this, I'm assuming, has a microphone somewhere. Yes, we have a microphone bit in the 3.5mm audio cable, and this seems to be about a 1.2 meter cable by the looks of the length. Let's see. Yes, that's about 1.2 meters, so good to have that as well. And let's look at the earphones themselves. Now, these are not battery powered, they're not Bluetooth, they're just a good quality headset. And my first impression is these are nice and chunky, nice and big, but despite that, they're extremely light. And that's probably down to the all light plastic industrial design. So it's all plastic, and the memory foam cup at the top is very nice and soft in pleather, and the ear muffs themselves are pretty big and chunky with left and right in them, but they've got some depth to them. They're really nice and squidgy. So whereas these may not be ideal for travel in terms of noise cancellation, if you're somewhere like a room, a quiet room where you're doing studio work, where you're editing video, where you're editing audio, these may be for you. And as we can see at the side here, there's two connector ports, one for the good old chonky 1/4 inch connector, and then that goes into your 3.5mm audio jack in a tablet or a phone, if you're lucky enough to have a phone that has that connector, and any other device. And as we said, there's that 3.5mm music sharing feature, but you can also use that to go straight from 3.5mm Courage port to 3.5mm Courage port. So that way you can either share the music you're taking through the big connector, or just use this to connect to whatever you're listening to. So interesting to see all that in action. What we're going to do is take these away, use them for a while on a desktop PC, a smartphone with a Courage port, and maybe a tablet or two. Get a feel for the sound, the shape of the sound, how the bass, treble and mids are balanced, and maybe make a video call to our Chief Aperture Officer, Lukasz, to get his impressions of what it sounds like at the other end of a Google Meet call. Anyway, I'll wrap up this first part of the video. We'll be back with our sample video and our conclusions of the first impressions in a few minutes. Bear in mind, we may also have a quick ad slot here. Please do watch through if you want to support the Tech Travel Geeks. And here we are. I'm wearing the Monitor 60 by One Audio, and I've been using them on my PC for a while. It's not just for listening to music. I've also been using them, for example, here to call our Chief Aperture Officer, Lukasz. Hey, Lukasz. How are you this evening?
Hey, Matteo. I'm great. How are you doing? How's your new house?
The new house is getting there. Not everything is as expected. We had a bit of a leak in the ceiling and in the living room, and there's a lot of works ongoing, but we're almost there. And the most important thing is the Tech Travel Geek studio in West Lothian is almost complete. But
Perfect.
as you can see, I'm wearing the One Audio Monitor 60 earphones. I have to say, overall, the sound quality on these earphones is very, very good. It tends to be on the bassy side, and so there's a little bit of a lacking in the higher ends of the sound spectrum. But I have to say, overall, these are very comfortable, very light, and this overall sound quality and value for money is very, very good. So
Yeah.
at this point, how does the sound to you at the other end of this Google Meet call?
I'm really impressed, I have to say. I asked you before this call if it's definitely this microphone, because I can hear you really, really well. So it's really impressive. At least when Microsoft when Google Meets is not slowing down as it did a few times, but the sound quality is really good.
Good, that's good to hear. So we can recommend this for day-to-day use if you're making a lot of video calls. Right then, I think we can wrap this quick demo up, and I'll hand over to myself in the first impressions and overall thoughts of the One Audio Studio 6 or Studio Monitor 60 earphones. Great, thanks for the call, Lukasz. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, bye.
Okay then, and I'm back, and I really have to say, the One Audio Monitor 60 studio headphones are really, really quite pleasant to use. They're big, but they're extremely light. Their soft pads really do cushion your ears and give you passive noise cancellation without being overwhelmingly tight, which some earphones do. And overall, for long periods of time, these are really comfortable to use. The earphones are not Bluetooth. These are not battery operated, and you have to use a cable to connect to devices. Now, only one of the 3 cables provided with the Monitor 60s has a microphone, and you heard the quality of the sound that came from that microphone. I was pleasantly impressed, and our Chief Aperture Officer, Lukasz, was as well. So it's a really good microphone, so if you're going to be using these to make video calls or do virtual meetings, the microphone on this cable is excellent, so thoroughly recommend it. The big cable is great for audio if you're sitting statically and not moving a lot. I personally quite enjoyed the sound coming from YouTube, as well as YouTube Music and a few other music apps that I have on my phone, including Amazon Music. So the sound quality of normal audio coming through a headphone jack, whether it's on a tablet, PC, or smartphone, if you have a smartphone with a Courage port, it was really quite pleasant. But if you're wanting to move around in the room a little bit more, there is a longer 3.5mm to 3.5mm audio-only cable. So there's no microphone on this cable, and it works really well. So the only other downside to the Monitor 60s by One Audio is the fact that you have the two headphone jacks on two different sides. So if you're using the big 1/4 inch connector, it goes in your left ear, whereas the standard 3.5mm one goes in your right ear. So if you have a Dell XPS laptop, such as the one I use, you will probably have a cable crossing in front of your chest or in front of you whilst you're using them. That's the only downside I can say about these, but apart from that, these are an excellent set of earphones, which are very affordable as well. We'll link in the description to where you can purchase the One Audio Monitor 60s on Amazon. If you do purchase from there, you'll be supporting the Tech Travel Geeks. And if you're going to be using these whilst traveling, we'll wrap up this video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. And if you want to support the Tech Travel Geeks, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the section below. For now, thanks for watching, and goodbye from me.